All right, guys, we are about to put in the river. But before we take off, I wanted to go ahead and do a quick little overview of my kayak, guys, how I use it, how I got things set up on it. It's been a little over a year since I've done my last video when I very first bought the Bonafide. And yeah, I've kind of got things figured out now, how I use it, how I set things up, where I put my hog trough, where I put my net, my paddle when when I'm not paddling, things like that, how I got my camera set up, just all the basic stuff. This may help some of you guys that are just looking into kayak fishing, that are just, looking maybe to buy a Bonafide. Give you an idea of how I, keep things set up, fish the river, get in some, sketchy spots, and kind of figure things out. So, show you guys what I got. One of the first things I added to the kayak, because I fished the river so much, was the anchor wizard, guys. I can sit in my seat, I can reach right back behind me, drop this thing, and that anchor will drop down in the water, hold me, and then I can just spin that anchor wizard, guys, and it'll pull that anchor right back up. One thing I have noticed, and when I very first bought this thing, when I made a video, some of the guys in the comments said, "Have you been hung up yet?" At the time, I had not been hung up. Now, guys, I don't drop this thing a whole lot. I just don't, because I have lost 2 or 3 of these now in the river, getting hung up in rocks when this thing gets down there and drops. And there's a little trick you can do with a zip tie, to where you tie it down here on the bottom, the start of your rope, and then you run it up here with the zip tie, so it's still sitting in the water that way. But when you get hung up, you can yank it and it'll break that zip tie, and in the hopes of it'll pop the bottom of this anchor out. I don't use it much. My next step's probably going to be getting a drag chain and just putting down a drag chain just to slow me down. So, but we got the black pack here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 rod holders. I usually put my GoPro in there, keep a couple rods in the back, but I've usually got 2 or 3 rods right there laying at my feet. So as I'm floating down the river or in the lake, I can just grab those and switch them up. Just got this a couple days ago from one of the tournaments I won. I had some gift cards. Went out and got the Yak Attack 360 light and the flag. Got a net from my buddy Brandon. I keep that on me. Let me show y'all how I do this net. Basically, I catch a fish. You guys know how those fish are. They go crazy. They jump around. They flip and flop. You try to hold them on your board. So basically, I'm just going to run this net over on the side, which I can't do it right now. I've got too much stuff, but I'll run it under the seat, set it here. That fish will be in the water, and I've got my fish grips on a little tether, which is just a piece of paracord. I'm gonna stick that fish right on them fish grips, drop that thing right in the net. That way I can mess with whatever I'm messing with, taking pictures, submitting a fish into the online tournament or whatever. I figured out the best way. I used to keep this hog trough on the front of my kayak, up on the very front, but I figured out I was always having to lean forward and get that hog trough and bring it back. So what I do is I take this little strap here that usually holds my paddle, and I stick that hog trough right beside me, and I just run it on here, wrap it around, boom. So now when I catch a fish, the hog trough is right beside me. I just reach down, put that fish on my lap, or I'll stick this hog trough in the floor just like this at an angle, and I can still lean over, take a picture of that fish with that hog trough. If I catch a big fish, a 4.5, 5 pounder, or a big old 4-pound smallie, I'll stick a water right underneath that hog trough so that don't break. But if you got a catch board, guys, you don't have to worry about it. And my catch board or my hog trough don't bend, guys. I don't let mine bend, so I put a water underneath it to keep that thing nice and flat. I always keep the good old scale right under my seat with fish grips. Pair of snips, guys, because I found that to be the easiest way to switch my lures out. Just snip that line, boom. And yeah, life jacket. Gotta have a life jacket, guys. Keep my phone right in my front pocket, so when I catch a fish, I can just zip it, take a picture, good to go. One last thing, before we take off. Right there, keep, you know, 4 or 5 different boxes with my, I've got a top water box, I've got a jig box, I've got crankbait box with all my, like, you know, shad colors and chartreuse colors, and then I've got a crawl box that's like lipless, you know, the crawl color, square bills, and then I've got a terminal tackle box that keeps all my, you know, sinkers, hooks, wacky rig, Texas rig, all that different stuff. So, and we've got a little bitty tiny cheap Lowrance depth finder. That's all I use it for, guys, is depth on the lake. I'm getting a new one from my buddy Matt. Hopefully it's a 5-inch. Yeah, pretty nice. And then we've got a little bitty battery, just like most of you guys use out of the hunting section at Wally World. Keep that down in there. Keep my wallet and keys. We're good to go, guys. And that's it. That's how I do it, guys. I mean, it's just a simple setup. It works. Lake, river, whatever. And when I'm sitting down, I can turn around, guys, and just turn on this camera, turn it off. All this is just a car wash pole. I can slide it up and down. Look at that. You want to get a real good view? Look how high that thing goes up. I mean, I could buy the Yak Attack pole, but this fits right in my rod holder. And it slides up and down. And I can aim this camera down and get a super cool view like that right there, just looking down at everything. So yeah, anyways, guys, that's it. That's my setup. I just wanted to do like a little 1-year review. I've had this thing for a little over a year, and absolutely love it, guys. One thing I do want to do is get a paddle drive system kayak for the lakes and stuff, but for the river, man, you cannot beat this kayak. It's awesome. It can stand up, you know, it's got plenty of balance, it's sturdy, and yeah, I've got tons of room, as you can see. So if you haven't yet, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you all in the next one.